アバフェルディ蒸留所に来ています。マネージャーにアバフェルディ蒸留所とそれから本人の自己紹介をしていただきたいと思います。
Hello and welcome to ABERFELDY Distillery. My name is Carol Moore and I'm the production manager at ABERFELDY. We're here just in front of the pagoda roof, and it's owned by John Juve & Sons, which is owned by Bacardi. It was bought over by Bacardi in 1999. Thank you. We are in the mill room at ABERFELDY Distillery. This is where we process the malted barley into what we call grist. The mill we see behind us is a traditional Porteous mill, and it's been here for about 30-40 years. Two sets of rollers. First set of rollers are fluted, and their main purpose is to split the husk lengthways. We retain the husks because we use it for filtration in the mash tun. The second set of rollers grinds the endosperm further down so that we can make all the fermentable sugars accessible and dissolve them in the mash tun. Here we are at the mash tun at ABERFELDY. This is where we mix the 7.5 tonnes of grist that has gone through the mill with the weak sugary liquid that is left over from the previous mash. We call it sparge. We mix the 7.5 tonnes of grist with 28,000 litres of sparge. When the two products combine, the temperature is really critical to the process. Here at ABERFELDY, we make sure that temperature is 65 degrees. This is the optimum temperature for the enzymes to which convert the fermentable starches into sugars, so that we can then convert them into alcohol in the washback. This is a full lighter tun, which means we have a shaft in the middle with 4 spurs off it. The spurs have fins. It can go up and down and forward and reverse. The main aim of this lighter arm is to maintain drainage, so we get as natural drainage as possible in the mash tun. We're wanting the water to filter through the grain and the grist as naturally as possible without forcing it through and forcing through oils into the washback, which could affect fermentation. At the bottom of the mash tun there's like a perforated base. Now what we're wanting is for the liquid to drain through the perforated base into the false bottom. There's then pipework which leads to the underback, which is to the left of me. From here, this maintains a balance of liquid in the mash tun. It goes through the worts cooler, which is a heat exchanger, to cool down the wort before it reaches the washback. Here at ABERFELDY we cool it down to about 16.5 in the summer or 17 degrees Celsius. This is to ensure that when we add the yeast it doesn't die off because it's too high a temperature. This whole process takes about 6.5 hours from start to finish. Once we have 13,000 litres in the washback, we start a process what is known as sparging on. Inside the mash tun there's what we call a sparge ring, and this is where we spray waters of different temperature on top of the mash bed, starting off at 75 degrees and going up to 85 degrees. And this is to ensure that we extract all the fermentable sugars from the grist that's in the mash tun. Once it's fully drained and we've filled our washback and the remaining liquid is going to the heating tank, what is left is known as draff. I think you've just seen a picture of it draffing out, and this is expelled from the mash tun and we sell it through a feed merchant for animal feed. Thank you. Hello, here we are in the tun room at ABERFELDY Distillery. This is where we house our fermentation vessels. We have 8 wooden washbacks and we've got 2 external stainless steel washbacks. There's no difference between the two, the spirit that we get from them, no difference at all. So we're taking our wort, so that's the weak sugary liquid that we get from the mash tun. It's been cooled down to 16.5 to 17 degrees. And once there's about 2,500 litres in the washback, we inject some liquid yeast. The strain that we use is a distilling strain, it's MS1, and we put in 158 litres of yeast to each washback. We then continue to fill the washback up to 33,500 litres, and then we leave the vessels for about 3 days to allow fermentation to take place. Fermentation at ABERFELDY is quite a vigorous process. There's a lot of heat and a lot of CO2 given out. You'll have seen pictures of the fermentation taking place where the froth comes right up to the high level in the washbacks, which means we have to engage the switcher blade, which then cuts into the froth and converts it back to liquid. If we did not have this switcher blade, then we would have a lot of product loss and we would lose it over the side of the washback. So that switcher plays an important part. After it's reached its high point, the froth will then gradually come back down until the washback's ready to be pumped. When it's ready to be pumped, the strength is about 8 to 10% alcohol. It's like a strong beer at this stage, but it has been in the fermentation vessel for about 3 days. Thank you.
今マネージャーが止めてくれたのが、バブルカッター、発酵の泡を止める機械ですね。この目の前に来てるのでこれも映しておきます。発酵状態がすごく生きがいいです。今まさに育っているというのはアルコールに変わりつつある姿です。アバフェルディの、マザーウォーターです。皆さんにお届けします。マッシュタンの下の位置ですね。これ動力弁です。回転させて攪拌させてる中心部でしょうね。心臓ですね。マッシュタンです。